What is going on, everybody? I go by the name of Kari, and I want to thank you guys for joining me here today on SneakerPhetish. If this is your first time here, thank you for joining me. If you are a fan of sneakers and the story behind these sneakers, make sure that you click that subscribe button below. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back, man. Where you been? We got a fun one to talk about today. We're talking about an Air Jordan 1 that a lot of people have been talking about, and it pays homage to a very expensive, super limited sneaker that dropped back in 2016, except this time it's dropping for the women. Without further ado, let's get into it. Boom. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. This is the 2023 Air Jordan 1 Satin Bread. Absolutely beautiful shoe. I know a lot of people have a lot of different opinions about this sneaker. We're going to take a little deeper look at the shoe, and then more so, I want to talk about what I've been seeing lately about a lot of people's opinions about this sneaker that, in my opinion, don't really need to have the opinions that they have. We'll get into that all. But before we get into all that, let's take another look at the shoe. Let's take a look at the packaging. All right, starting with the box itself now, this is, of course, the women's Air Jordan 1 box. You guys know on the men's pair, it's the black with the red writing, and a women's Air Jordan 1, it's the inversion of that. So you're gonna get a red box, black writing. That's pretty much it. Now, getting into the shoe itself, the first thing you're gonna notice is that it's a regular Air Jordan 1 silhouette, classic bread color blocking on this. Black in the quarter panels, black around the toe box, red on the collar and around the heel, and of course on the toe box, except of course this time it's totally covered in satin. Now, there are some key differences between this pair and the 2016 pair that of course we'll point out as we go along. Now, the 2023 pair, red satin on the swoosh. I love the stitching, did a very good job on that. Red on the collar and around the heel, and black stitching, satin stitching, of course, Ball and Wings logo on the lateral collar. Metal on the eyelets going down the shoe, pretty much the same, I believe, as the 2016 pair. Taking a top down look at the shoe here, satin tongue on this, regular Air Jordan 1 tag, and of course that bread toe that we all have known to love with the satin on the toe as well. So far, everything is still the same as the 2016 pair. The first difference that you may notice is that these come with black laces and an extra set of red laces with a silver lace tip there. On the 2016 pair, the laces came with gold tips. The 2023 pair, they come with silver tips. On the insole of the shoe, red insole with the black Nike Air on the heel. Now, this is also different. The 2016 pair featured a quilted, kind of bone colored or like a cream colored insole. So very different insole on these. On the 2023 pair, you have the satin liner inside of the shoe here, but on the 2016 pair, these were actually individually numbered inside of the shoe up to 501 pairs. And that number was actually stitched in that satin lining inside of the shoe as well. It was really fly. But that's pretty much it when it comes to the satin bread Jordan 1s for 2023. So honestly, a lot of it is pretty much the same as the men's pair that dropped in 2016. Now, a little bit of history on that one. That was the anniversary of the bread Air Jordan 1, I believe. I want to say it was like 31 years because this was 2016. I believe that the breads or the airships, whatever you want to call them, they got banned in 1985. That would make it 31 years, not 30 years. Maybe that's why they only made it 501 pairs and put that extra one on there. I'm not exactly sure, especially since we had already gotten another bread Air Jordan 1 also in 2016, the regular pair that a lot of people really love. So this was a one-off, New York exclusive only. It was on Wooster Street, I believe. A little pop-up shop, super simple, super quick, and as we all know, that 2016 men's version of the satin breads went for astronomical amounts of money. I'm talking thousands of dollars, $3,000 to $5,000, and even today, if you can find a pair of those, they're gonna run you a lot more money than the $200 to $250 that these are running you today. But people seem to be upset that now Jordan Brand has made these a women's exclusive. And for the life of me, I don't really understand why people have such a problem with these sneakers being a women's exclusive. It's rant time. Because what is it about women's sneakers that men hate so much? Like, I don't get it. And I know that it's majority of the men that watch sneaker YouTube. I know it's majority of men that watch sneaker content. So I get that a lot of the stuff that we see is geared towards men and men give their opinions of it. And listen, there's nothing wrong with having your personal opinion about these sneakers, but at the same time, fellas, why can't we just allow women to have things and accept these shoes for what they are. This is something that I see a lot in sneakers, is that instead of accepting a shoe for what it is from Jordan Brand, we complain about why it's not more geared towards us. How come they didn't make these a unisex shoe or extended sizing so men can be happier? Why is it that they have to make these for women? And I just don't understand why we just can't accept the shoe for what it is without always trying to change a shoe into something for us all the time. Like I always say, let the ladies have their things. They say it on Sneakers Live. They say it everywhere you go. Let the ladies have their shoe. I'm not saying, and let me be very clear about this, I'm not saying that men can't buy women's shoes. We can. These are a 10.5 in women's. They're my size. But what I am saying is that instead of wishing and being mad that these aren't more geared for me as a man, I accept this shoe for what it is. And that goes from the fit to the history of women's shoes that were also satin. We got satin shattered backboards, women's pair. Satin black toes, women's pair. When the women's Jordan Brand relaunched and reemerged, we had the Season of Her collection, which was a bunch of different colors of all satin Air Jordan 1s that were women's pairs. There's so many women's pairs that have satin on them. It only makes sense why they would revamp this into a women's pair because it's all satin. I didn't know that this many men love satin sneakers like that because I don't really see us complaining about them the other time. Or is it only that we complain when it's a shoe that we want? Because I don't see this complaining when it comes to a women's sneaker that men don't want. So why is it okay for women to have their own things when it's a shoe that men don't want? But if we want it, all of a sudden, Jordan Brand's not being fair. Nike's not being fair. This isn't fair. Like, I just don't understand this idea of fairness in sneakers. Maybe somebody can help me out. Furthermore, I want to bring something to everybody's attention that I've been hearing a lot around YouTube that we really need to debunk this myth. Men's sneakers and women's sneakers are made differently. People from the brand have acknowledged this. Different people that do sneaker and shoe content have acknowledged this. So many people have acknowledged this, but for whatever reason, I guess maybe to make us feel better, we keep thinking that there's literally no difference between men and women's sneakers than the sticker on the box, and that's just not true, and let me give you an example. This is the insole from an Air Jordan 1 that I have. I think it's the Bloodlines or something, and this is the insole from the brand new Satin Breads, the women's pair. If you put these insoles side by side, you'll notice that the men's insole is a little bit wider and the arch is a little bit lower, but the women's insole is actually a little more narrow, especially in the heel, and the arch is actually a little bit higher. Now, that's because women's sneakers are contoured a little differently for the female foot. Women's feet tend to be a little wider in the front and a little more narrow in the heel. And I don't care what anybody says, when you put on a women's Air Jordan 1, it fits a little tighter in the heel. Debate that with somebody else, we can debate it, but I put on this shoe and when I put it on my foot, it's a little more narrow in the heel. And I actually measured the heel going across on the women's and the men's insole. And guess what? The men's insole measured at about 2.5 inches and the women's insole measured at about 2.25 inches going across, which proves my theory that the heel is a little more narrow. And that's why, even though it's slight, you're going to notice a little different fit in a women's shoe than a men's shoe. I hate to break the news to you. You can wear it, you can put your foot in it, but women's sneakers are made different. The Satin Bread is a fantastic sneaker. I am kind of happy that the resale prices on these are very, very low. I'm sure part of that is because, yet again, this is a sneaker that a lot of people thought were their grails, and because they were worth thousands of dollars, people wanted them, but now that there's a lot of pairs being produced, and because they're not in extended sizes, the demand has totally dropped on them. Now that you can get them, people don't want them anymore. That's fine. That's more pairs for the ladies. But I'm gonna tell you like this is a good shoe. This is a really good shoe, very well made. I know that people have been upset about the creasing element of it. There are videos that you can dig into, like Elliot Page did a video talking about the creasing. Foamer talked about the creasing as well. So if you guys wanna dig into that, I definitely say check out their videos. But to me, it's not that bad. This is a fantastic sneaker, excellent job, and I love that they're bringing these back for the ladies. That's pretty much all that I gotta say about these. Now it's time for you guys to sound off down below in the comments. Let me know what you guys think about the 2023 Satin Bread Air Jordan 1. Are these on your must-cop list? Are your feet too big for these? How do you feel about these being a women's sneaker? Are you one of those ones that's like, nah, forget the ladies, respectfully, like I want what I want, I'm gonna go after it? Either way, I respect it. Sound off down below. Let me know. Of course, right down in the comments, make sure that you click on that subscribe button so you don't miss out on anything else that comes through, because I guarantee you, I got a lot more heat on the way. As always, I want to thank you guys for joining me here today on SneakerPhetish, taking a look at these with me, unboxing them with me for a couple of minutes. I go by the name of Kari, and this is the Air Jordan 1 Satin Bread for 2023. And until next time, I'm out.